Hey, so it's been a while since the last upload. I want to show you what I've been working on for the last, I'd say about 8 months, since last summer, roughly. Man, can we zoom this out? No, that's as far as it goes. So, what this is a representation of a digital signal. If I get in on close, you'll see that. Man, I should decide vertical or not. I guess horizontal video we do for a bit. Anyway, this is kind of a, I guess, mosaic or whatnot. But each of these blocks, they're digital signals. So you know, if you have an Arduino, anything like that. If you do a standard serial signal, this is ASCII code. So we can pick, I don't know, a random block here. For example, this is a space. We start in high, we drop down low, and then we end high and then low. I can't remember exactly the composition, but you can look that up. I might post a little picture of how that works, but every single one of these blocks is a letter, and it makes up a story. And you can imagine how and why this must have taken, well, 8 months. And it goes from the entrance of the hallway. I'll try to get a better picture that's a little more all-encompassing, but with the camera here, you can see that, hey, it starts here. I'll give you a little brief explanation. What you're seeing there is kind of what I call the northern lights. Here in Finland, it comes across here all the way down there, and that's where it ends. It's the night sky. We look down, we see a city with stars up there, and green grass and whatnot, and we look on and the sun's coming up in the distance. You can see the blue sky, the difference in the blue sky, and as the blue sky, you can see that it shifts into purple and then to the darkish purple we have there. What else? We have a nice little pine tree in the foreground, or evergreen, I don't know exactly what you call those, but anyway, little hill throughout there. And if you look down there, there's a bit of a lake and whatnot. I put this together with this is metallic marker, so it has a bit of a shine. You can kind of see as I'm moving around. And then I did put a top coat of gloss to give it a little more contrast. And then we go through here. Got a nice little smoke detector, still works, don't worry about that. And the clouds as it ends. You might notice that's a bit rough on the sides. I am planning to, all these sides here, I didn't worry too much because I am planning to go over them with glow-in-the-dark paint, so the borders of the wall will be like that. And I did every detail, even the parts you can't see from above and below, even inside of the key box. A little rough in there, it's hard to get that in there, and it's all in there. I'm hoping maybe I can get some wider shots. Oh yeah, and one thing I haven't done yet, but I'm planning to do, are these little LED lights that you can see here. I've put them in, I just need to get power running to them, and I'll get a motion detector to help light this up. Right now I have bright light lighting it up so you can see everything, but it's going to need additional lighting. You can see across the floor that there's some LEDs there, and as we step back you see a little more of it. Let's get that in focus. It's still hard, it's quite large. Like I said, this took me about 8 months to put together. A lot of time was spent just in the planning. I mean, it was a lot of planning. And one other thing I did make is cut off the lights. We still have a bit of light, but anyway, we have this. Let me get this rag out of the way, dusting the place off. But this is a light up shoe rack made with a giant board of acrylic. I bent it with a heat gun, made it into a little shoe rack, and it has a motion sensor on it to light up. Right now it's battery powered, but I will hook it up into main power because we can't have that running out. Let's see, we shut off the light, and yeah, you see it. And what's cool is because of the distance the light travels, I believe, or whatever the properties of this is you can see that by the time the light that starts here travels through the acrylic, it turns red, and at the halfway point it's purple. So it's kind of a neat effect that it gets. And yeah, I like how that came out. That was just a piece of acrylic that bent it into shape. Wasn't too hard to do. And yeah, what else can I say about this? You know, I posted a picture over on Reddit, didn't go too well. I guess it's all up to chance. You know, do this more for myself than anything else because I enjoy the kind of look of it and how it comes together. Still a little, what do you call it, touch up. You know, like I said, the edges need to be fixed up and the paint on the sides cleaned up and all that. But yeah, so you know, if you guys want to spend time trying to dissect, or what do you call it, decode what this says, because it is approximately 2 pages of text. I can tell you that it starts off with a description of what you see on the wall, you know, what is there, what the story is. And then there's maybe 2 very short stories in there, a bit of rambling that makes nonsense. And yeah, I mean, it's a little project I made. Still planning on doing more stuff. You know, the idea is that this place, wall to wall, is going to be covered in color. I mean, we can already see the snake. Let's see if we can get you in there. I don't know if I showed you guys this thing last time, but it's a giant snake on the ceiling with a smushed little flower up there. So, still a bit to do. This by far was the most time-consuming thing I've done. And what else can I say? So yeah, planning to put some lighting there. Yeah. Maybe I'll just put some little shots of everything. I covered everything I could. Just wanted to get that little detail in. So, you know, down to this was a bit difficult to do. It's difficult because, you know, trying to get every letter, every character, every space, every exclamation point, everything is in there. And by the end of this, I had memorized nearly every signal, ASCII signal, what it looks like. So I was like, at the start I had a little reference sheet, but by the time I got to the end, I was just writing it like I'd write, you know, any other text. Let's get that back in focus. I'm gonna turn the bright light back on, just so that you can see. Yeah, I mean, this in general, I know that the video itself here is going to be a little low effort. I haven't been doing video content for a while. This is where I'm putting my energy. Now what else can I say about it? Just had the idea and went with it, and you know, the start of it was so difficult because, you know, you start by painting the whole wall black, and then you realize that when you paint black on white, it doesn't quite, well, it's not as deep as you'd like it. So you have to do, I think I did 4 or 5 layers to get it to the point that I wanted it to be. And then I drew a grid with, you know, your standard graphite pencil. And then in that grid, I had to mark each block that would be a letter into I forget if it was 10. So I'm recording with my phone, and I didn't realize it, but it cut off the speech at some point. And I don't know, with this phone, I can't figure out how to scrub through the content to see what was the last thing I said, but it couldn't have been too long ago. I was just saying that it was pretty time consuming to set all this up, and before I even got the first marker in there, it was you know, you spend like 4 or 5 months on this and it doesn't look like anything. And even when you start, it doesn't look like anything. You know, it wasn't until I finished the closet door first that I was like, well, it kind of looks like something. And then slowly, it just turns into kind of this image. Man, I really need to get I'm gonna have to get a wider shot, maybe pictures. I don't know why the wide lens on this doesn't allow video recording. Anyway, yeah, figure it came out like I wanted it to. And who knows who's gonna like it, who's not gonna like it, but, you know, I like it. And, still a lot more to do with this hallway, but I think it came out pretty nice. Hey, you can let me know what you guys think. You know? Yeah, let me know what you guys think, and if you're able to decode anything. It's not perfect, you know. I don't know, I can blame some of it on, let's say, time dilation or something, because it's not always the length of each signal, or what do you call it, drop in voltage, increase, all that is inconsistent, and that's because I did it all by hand, did it as best I could. But yeah, I mean, you should be able to pick out just about anywhere and start to decode. You don't have to. I mean, probably nobody will. And probably I'll be the only one who knows what this thing says. It's nothing crucial, nothing important, but just thought it was a neat approach, neat idea. You know, I haven't seen anybody do anything like this. But yeah, I'll try to take a few better shots and get that in here. So, yeah, that took a long time. But, yeah, who knows? And who knows if they'll let me keep this up here, but I hope they do. I mean, you know, apartment buildings, they can be a bit weird about that. But I always figured that if somebody doesn't like this and they want to force me to get rid of it, you know, paint is cheap. But let's hope it doesn't come down to that. Comes pretty good. Everything is cold. You know, even the light switch. And of course, like I said, this is going to be gone. Doesn't look nice, but I didn't worry too much about protecting it because I am going to replace that glow in the dark. It's going to look neat. It's going to be like the door frame, glow in the dark, and yeah. So that's enough of my rambling. You've seen enough of my rambling on the wall. You've heard enough of my rambling in voice. If you did like the video, of course, hit like. If you think it's worth sharing, share it. I'll include some images you're free to share, hand out, whatever. You know, if you think people like it, you know, as you wish. Bye-bye.